Understood the assignment. So welcome to our class today. We're going to be talking about CMAs. I don't have one prepared, so I'm going to rely on y'all to tell me what y'all need. I know there's a lot of rental CMAs that people are doing. So is it the same as when you do it for a seller? The answer is pretty much I'm going to ask pretty much the same basic questions to get the knowledge that you need to be able to prepare the CMA. Now, the best thing to prepare a CMA is to see the actual property, see the condition of it. This way you can have more of an accurate knowledge. But lots of times we're doing Zoom and social distancing. So we're trying to get as much information up front as possible. So some of the questions that you may want to ask your client and take notes of is, what are the conditions of the property? What is the property? So how many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? First floor, second floor. That also make a difference. Elevated building, non-elevated building. Basement accessible, not accessible. Wash and dryer in the unit, wash and dryer in the basement. You want to ask them, is it renovated? When was it last renovated? Is there new appliances in the apartment? Is the owner going to furnish it with washer, dryer, dishwasher, refrigerator, microwave? Or in New Jersey, the owner is technically on a rental responsible only for the stove. A tenant generally has to provide their own refrigerator. So some of these questions you need to know and ask up front. So when you're trying to do your analysis and compare what the price should be, you have all that knowledge down to do the comparison. Another question you may want to ask, what type of flooring? Is it carpet? Is it hardwood? Is it tiles? This way, you know, when you do comparison, you're looking for hardwood versus carpet. Is the heat and hot water included? Then that's a different comparison because you want to look at comps that are going to have heat and hot water included as opposed to comps that don't. The difference is if heat and hot water is included, most of the times the comps are going to be a little bit higher. If they are separate utilities, then the comps may be a little bit lower because now the tenant has to take that difference into consideration when applying for the apartment. That's an expense. So you want to compare, is heat and hot water included? Is it not included? Sometimes you may want to even look for, is heat, hot water, gas, and electric included? Now, side note, if it's a basement apartment, we don't rent basement apartments. Most of the time it wouldn't be a legal apartment. So you always want to double check the tax records, see if it's legal to family that they're trying to rent or single family with a basement and trying to pull off on a basement as a rental. That is illegal to live in a basement. We don't do that. So we don't want to pull in any type of comps that have basement. And sometimes the attic may be factored in as 1.5 on a tax record. So it's included as livable space, but most of the time basement attics are not livable space. Only if that's a duplex and it has been already previously approved and brought like that, can we rent the attic in the top floor as the duplex with living space. Now, can you rent it? Yes, you can rent it, but it's not bedroom space. So when we doing our comps and somebody say, yeah, I got a 3-bedroom, 2 on the first floor, 1 in the basement, red flag, we don't live in basements. You only got a 2-bedroom. A lot of times in Jersey City, we have where they take the living room, dining room, and convert that living room into a bedroom. You still want to make sure that it has a proper closet space. What does the appraisal consider a bedroom? A bedroom have a closet space, heat, and windows. So you have these little small spaces that's like an office that may or may not have heat or may not have a closet. So you have to determine, do they truly have a 3-bedroom or is it just a 2-bedroom? So that's why it's always good to see the property before you do the CMA. But sometimes we don't see the property. So we're trying to go off the knowledge that we're collecting, gathering from them so that we can put it together properly. Now, once we do that and we do take it to the property and we do see it, if we have to make adjustment, explain why. You told me, sir, you had a 3-bedroom. When I'm looking at this, you don't have a closet in this room. I cannot consider this a bedroom, so you have a 2-bedroom. So instead of being 1,800, we might only get 1,725, 750. You just adjust it right on the spot. All right, so let's go to our computer. And I'm gonna pull, oops, I gotta share first.
Karen, did you say that a bedroom is not a bedroom unless it has a closet in it?
Closet, window, and heat is considered a bedroom.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna share my screen. And we're gonna go to our MLS. And Ramesh, I think you had a rental up in Journal Square, right? Was it Journal Square or the Heights?
It was in the Heights.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you some questions and we're gonna put the CMA together based on the answers that you give me. So was that a 2 or 3-bedroom?
It was a 2-bedroom. I actually have another one coming up.
Oh, so why don't we do a real one, a live one?
Sure.
Let's gather some information.
We could use the old one because the new one that I have, I don't know how many bed and bath it is yet. I'm gonna go look at it this week, but we could use the old one if you want.
All right, so let's go with the old one. You said it was in the Heights. You said it was a 2-bedroom.
Yep.
Was it renovated?
No, not recently.
What appliances were included?
Dishwasher, stove, refrigerator, microwave. Not stainless
Steel
steel.
or standard?
Standard, not stainless steel.
What type of flooring was it? Wood or
Yep.
carpet?
Wood, all wood.
Parking?
No parking.
Any access to the basement?
Basement storage, yes, there is.
Amenities make a difference, guys. So you want to see if there's any type of...
Your voice just cut off right there, Karen.
Oh, sorry. Amenities are important, so you want to make sure that there are amenities. We said it's hardwood floors, basement had the amenities, no parking. Were the rooms large or small or medium? What would you say?
I would say they were medium. No, they're small. I'll say they're small. Let me put it that way, they're small.
And 1 bathroom?
1 bathroom.
Any new updates that you can tell me about?
No updates. Oh, new windows throughout the whole place. That's the only update. He installed all new windows.
That helps with the heat and making sure it's insulated. So new windows is a good thing.
Send my window guy. Help my bill.
Now, what exactly did the owner have in mind?
He wanted to get 2,000. He actually, his PIT and everything together was like 1,850 or 18 something. And he was like, as long as I can cover it, great. But I'd like to get a profit on this and you know, get 2,000 and make like 150 a month on it. And I said, let's see what the market has. And he wanted to have it rented in like 3 weeks or like in a month, and very short time period to go above market rate.
Who was paying the broker fee?
At first, he wanted the tenants to pay. And I said, okay, you want to try the 2,000? I told you, this is on the highest of the high end that I see in your area and your competition. Back then, the map when I did the CMA wasn't working properly. And a week after I did the CMA, I found a property a block away. That was his competition. That looked better than his. That was 1,850. So after 2 or 3 weekends and no shows, when we had at 2,000, I said, listen, you're going to lose out on a month of rent. Just put it for 1,850. He actually said 1,850 at that point. And let's just price it so that it moves and get it rented. Because I did your line. I said, how many more months of rent do you want to lose? And he said 0. So once he said, okay, and I'll eat the broker fee if we can get it rented. And he ate the broker fee and we got it rented in 5 days when he put it for 1,850. Because there was one apartment, it was like off market, something that was on Zillow by the owner, not on the MLS, which probably didn't want to show up on the map. That was 1,850, 2-bed, 1 bath, and nicer, way nicer looking than his. A block.
What block was yours on, Remy?
Mine was 85 Sherman Ave. And that apartment was on Webster, a block away.
Was the property that we are Compton. What address was that one?
85 is Sherman Ave, apartment 3R.
So was that 3R? Was that a walk up?
It was third floor walk up.
So in the elevator building, guys, if you go up, the price generally go higher. In a walk up building, you go up, the price go lower because you gotta walk up as opposed to taking an elevator.
And no laundry on site at this guy's apartment. So that's another big deal with the walk up, right? It's a lot of clothes to lug up and down.
And food and luggage and anything that you have to carry to a third floor. So where
And
he
water.
was probably getting a 2,000, if it was on the first floor, he probably would have got that 2,000, especially
Yep.
if he was paying the broker fee. But as you do a third floor and you start to have to factor in the tenant having to go up, you actually start losing tenants because someone with disabilities is not going to go up. Somebody that's older may not want to take the stairs up. So you start losing your quality of how many pooling tenants you may have because a lot of people do not want to go up to the third floor. So let's go on the computer and we're going to start off with the information Remy's prepared for us. We're going to start off with doing a search. Now we was doing one family, we're pulling one family. Two family, we're doing vacant lots, condos. In this case, we're doing a residential rental. So we're going to start with the rental and we want to compare what's active on the market. And that's active rentals. And we want to compare what rented. And we know he wanted to get about 2,000. So you got a number in mind that you can work with. So I'm going to put about 2,100. We know it's a 2-bedroom. We know it's Jersey City and we know it's Jersey City Heights. We're going to go with the rentals that you see is over 2,000 things. But when you drop down, rentals, I only do 3 months back. Whereas if it was a sale, we would go 6 months, sometimes 9 months, and depending on if it's a 3 or 4 family, we might even have to go back a whole year. So in this case, the market's been moving. So I'm only going to go back to, let's see, we're in December, November, September should be good. Everybody started going back to work in September. Then we see there's 94 units. So I know I'm not going to go through 94 units. We know he wanted to get at least 1,850. He wanted to cover his expenses. So I would drop it to about 1,750. And that should bring me down to even 68 things on the market to search through. So we can search through 68 things really quick. Because remember, we're not picking everything in the Heights. We're picking things that are close to Sherman Avenue. Now, if you don't know where Sherman Avenue is, or anyone for that matter, I would just go to Google, put in the address that you want. And we do this a lot when we're doing things outside of Jersey City because we're not too familiar with the area. We look at the map. And then you can increase the map. How you make the map go? I'm usually on my phone, not on my.
The bottom right is a plus and a minus button. There you
go in a little bit. We see it's over there by Hunting. Let's see if we can go in a little bit more, see more streets. Not a lot of streets over there, huh? Go back a little bit. So I would say take anything 5 blocks from Sherman, east, north, west, south. This way, when you're doing your comparison, you're doing your comparison around this area. So we're looking at Cross Streets, Sherman, Hancock, Cambridge. What's that one? Central. Let's go all the way from Central to Palisade, probably. No, maybe New York Avenue. Palisade is even more over. And then we want to go.
Once I went a little bit too far to the right, I ended up in Hoboken. So I had to change my map. Instead of a circle, I had to do like a trapezoid because Hoboken will throw off your rents.
Oh yeah, you definitely would throw off. Then I would say Manhattan to a little after Bowers. maybe South Street. So when we going back over to our computer here, I like to put them in order, see which ones are active, which ones are rented, and then we go from there. So Hunting Street, Palisade, we said was a little further over, Webster, Hunting, Sherman, right on the street. Poplar's way.
Karen, do you use the map or you just do it one by one?
I usually narrow down, but there's easier ways to do it. If you want to show me, I'll gladly accept that.
Yeah, you see that map? You see the go back to the screen you had before this one when you started choosing the actual the listings where you had the criteria. Yeah, go to map search. It's right next to criteria. I'm gonna show you how I did it, and sometimes this doesn't always work. I go to map search, right? And then where it says center map and zoom on this address, type in 85 Sherman Ave. This is how I did it.
Guess I'm still old fashioned.
Right?
But this might work.
Sherman Ave. Let's see. There, and it's gonna bring you to 85. So I should have already zoomed in on it. If not, you can, type it in again. 85 Sherman Ave. Right where you were on the center map, that thing. Type 85 Sherman Avenue. JC, whatever. Jersey City. Let's see what comes up. That search thing. Okay, now see that zoom thing, the plus on the bottom right? To the right. Keep going. Keep going to the right. That one. Zoom in, and that should bring you to the pin. Keep zooming in. Keep zooming in. All right, so there you go. There's all your properties,
the one
right?
pin right there.
Yeah, that's your one pin. So there's all, excuse the background noise. There's all your properties. Now what I do is on the left-hand side, underneath map search, you see where it says draw? I click draw. And then I choose, not radius, because radius makes you go to Hoboken. Hold on, baby. I choose rubber band. Right? And then I draw a square wherever I want to include exactly. And that'll choose the listings within the square. And that's how I did it. Because then instead of going through each listing, I'm narrowing down the whole 5 blocks to the left, down, right. That's the way I did it. I can't hear, your voice is cut off.
Once you choose once, can you change it, the square?
You have to, like, and this is the hard part, you have to I don't think you can delete it, you have to redo it. I mean, I think you can do multiple squares actually, but it's I forget how to undo once you draw it. And I think you have to, like, it'll let you draw another one, I think. Yeah. So you'll have like multiple areas you're including within your search criteria. So like you drew into Hoboken right there with the second one.
I went over too far.
Yeah, that's Hoboken. Now you're in Hoboken. Once you pass that Patterson Plank
Road.
I
see now. I see Palisade. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that 9 that's the only one that popped up.
Hit the red X. I want to see if it disappears. When you click on that, on the 9, let's see if, I don't know how to delete it after you've done it. There's no, I don't know the undo button. This is how I did it.
All right. Let's see.
If you hit that X, it'll just make the drawing disappear. No, it doesn't.
And once you do that, where did you go?
So basically, then I hit run search based on the drawings that I did. But you drew a lot of Hoboken in there, so you're gonna see a lot of Hoboken now. And then this will give you everything even further, like narrowed down based on your map search.
So you still realize you're gonna have to go through them to
Yep, I just narrowed down the 68 via the left, right, up, down.
40.
So it's a 40. And then I still go through and do comparables, see which ones look like my existing property.
No Palisade is too far. I'm gonna pull in Reservoir. I'm pulling New York. I'm gonna pull in Hunting, Sherman, Hunting. Liberty is on the other side. Kenny is too far. Ferry Street. I'll pull in Ferry. Hunting Street. Yes. Charles, I think on our map was a little further. Sherman, Terrace. Terrace is on the other side. Lincoln might fit. New York, we said. South Street, we said that would be our border. Sherman, Griffin Griffith. Did say Manhattan, New York. Bowers was right before that. Patterson Plank is too far. Webster's okay. Palisade too far. Sherman, New York Avenue, Hutton Street, Sherman. What's a lot of stuff going on in the Heights. So that's a good thing.
If
Ogden,
Sherman Place is a block away from Sherman Ave, it gets confused. They're like 2 blocks apart. And Sherman Place has a lot of condos along with Sherman Ave.
Sherman Ave, Webster, we're pulling Webster and Sherman. So now we gonna show just our checked ones, and that dropped it down to 25 from 40. So we went from 68 to 40 to 25. Now we want to go in and look at each one and see what's similar to the property that we're comparing there at 85 Sherman. 85 Sherman, is that a brick building or
It's a brick front
Frame.
building.
brick front? Okay. And we said that was on the 3rd floor. This one is on the 2nd floor, 19 Hutton Street. I'm gonna keep on going. This one is on 4th floor, but this is probably an elevated building. So I want to look and see, yeah, elevator and washing dryer. So I went and picked that building. This looked like probably one of the similar buildings that would be on the 2nd floor. I still need to start pulling something for comps. It has storage, no parking. So outside of being on the 2nd floor, they got 1975. So maybe that would be a good comp for me. Then I want to see the pictures. Now, Ramesh, you've been in the property, so you know if these pictures are outstanding or similar. And from looking at it, I would say this is probably not a good comp because that is renovated.
Yeah, it's a little
So
nicer
we're
than the
gonna
guy's
take that
place.
off. Yeah. that would
Also,
be-
Karen, when you do active rental and rented, when I do the 3-month look back, I used to do active rental and rented. Then I realized, you know what? I just started just doing only active rentals because, you know, if it's not something that he's currently competing against, I was like, do I really want to include the rented ones?
Well, the renter is gonna give him a sense of where he's gonna be. So I would still include the rented ones. The active is just his competition. And if his competition tested it 16 days at 1900, do you want to wait 2 weeks at 1900 and see that this unit is not going anywhere? Or do you want to price it according to what has rented, which is the 1850? So I would still use both of them.
Got it.
Now this one is on Ferry Street. It's one of the newer, but it's okay. Older cabinets, the flooring is nice. So I would use this as a comp. And it's on the 3rd floor, and it's a 2-bedroom. So there's one of my comps. Sherman Place, just looking at the floors, they look beautiful, but let's look at some of the other features of it. And then you can tell me, Ramesh, is this a good comp or not? Now they look like they're gonna have some access to the backyard, otherwise you wouldn't put those pictures in there. Bathroom is a standard bathroom, nothing spectacular. The floors are okay.
That's comparable.
Kitchen,
Kitchen's not great right there. The kitchen's nicer, but that's comparable.
so we're gonna pull that one in. Hutton Street, 2-bedroom. This is on the 1st floor. It's 2000. He wants 2000, but let's see. This has a wash and dryer room. We don't have that. We're gonna skip it. 63 Sherman. This is right on his block. A few houses down, no parking. It is an elevated building. However, why would I take this one? Because it's in the price point I need him to be, $17.95. So when he's going and saying, well, I want the 1900, well, we can say, sir, this one on the 1st floor, they only got $17.95. What makes you think you're gonna get the 1900? All about how you're gonna reason with the client. 77 Sherman, 2-bedroom, 1850. I think we would take this one. Doesn't look like anything spectacular looking at the pictures. So it's not like it's super, it does have wash and dryer, which they got 1850. Gonna have to take 1800. But I will pull that in because it's right on the same block. Now this is 1300 square feet. The other ones are a little bit less. I've been looking at 800, 1,000. So you got to factor into how big is that 2-bedroom, because you don't want to compare something that's too big to what you may have. So this one I probably wouldn't pull in, even though it's not renovated. It's just super big. Everybody understand that? But you don't want to give them hopes that, well, this is 1,300. They got 1,900. Yeah, but that's 1,300 square feet. You're only about 750 square feet. 149 Webster, 1950, a 2-bedroom, 3rd floor. Getting better. What amenities does this have? 1-car parking. So I'm gonna have to back out 150 just because they got parking. So now you're down to 1,800. So even if you're gonna use that as a comp, you can always retract what one may have versus what the other one doesn't have. So if you have to use it because there's no comps, then use it. But in this case, we got plenty.
That was the one. That was the one right there. That was the competition one right there.
That was the competition. And did you
That's the
notice
one that for some
had
reason
parking?
didn't show up on the map. It didn't show up on the map when I included the, like it should have been within the map range I chose. When I saw this, I was like, oh man, this is way better looking than this place. And it had parking.
Oh, look at who rented it. Chris Harnett out of our office. Chris out of our office.
So it was already rented?
Yeah, it's gone at 1950, but they have
Yeah,
parking,
that
and
would've
that's probably the difference.
I was thinking that was gonna go quick.
All right, there's another one in Sherman. The house is a little bit different, but what does this have that the other one don't? 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So we can automatically skip that. Hutton Street, 2-bedroom, 1750. AC is central, no parking. Fully gut renovated. So sometimes you don't even have to look at the pictures. You can just read the comments. We know we're not fully gut renovated, so we're not even going to pull that comp in. 64 Sherman, lovely renovated. Lovely didn't say newly. Listen to the phrases of how people word things. So it looks good. Doesn't look like, spectacular. I would pull that in as a comp. Canadian Summit, I think that's a little bit further over than what I was anticipating. So I wouldn't pull that one in. New York, Palisade and Webster, 1,800, 2-bedroom, no parking, no fee. Look at it, no fee to tenants. So that means it was being paid by the landlord. I would use this as a comp. It's on the 3rd floor. Pictures might look a little bit better. I'm not sure what you think as far as the pictures for me.
It looks better and it looks bigger.
So if they got 1,800, that's where we're probably going to be, somewhere around that. We just got a few more. Let's see, this is the 3rd floor, 1,850. No parking, storage. This is a perfect comp for us. Inside doesn't look too bad, but it's not spanking new. So I would
Some of those photos are box brownie. Some of them are legit photos, meaning non-edited.
Oh, how you can tell if they box brownie?
Those are my photos.
Oh,
That's my listing.
This is our comp, 1,850.
That's you look at the realtor on that, you'll see my name.
Like how you know that? All right, New York Avenue, Bowers and Griffith, 2-bedroom, 1,900. That kitchen looks way much better than your kitchen.
Yeah, this place looks great. I might move in.
I wouldn't use that as a comp then. Sherman, this is probably BR basement level. Garden unit. And I'm surprised they got 200 for a garden unit. Let's see what made this unit get wash and dryer. Oh, they got 2,000 in this unit. I'm shocked. Generally a garden level unit always, but they probably was paying that fee while they got
Yeah,
that 2,000.
paid by landlord.
Yeah, he paid that fee up front. He probably would have got that. This one is Webster, Congress, and South. He said 1900. Pictures don't look too bad, so we would use that as our comp. Oh, the first floor, I won't use that one.
Do you put a limit on how many properties you bring in as comps, Karen?
Generally, I do anywhere from 3 to 5. So we probably have a lot more than what we want. This one have parking, so I wouldn't do parking. 145, that one looks spectacular. Just
That looks amazing.
on
Don't choose that
pictures.
one.
So I wouldn't pull that one in. 297, closer to Palisade and Webster, 1950. They started off at 1850. What made them go up? They probably had multiple people who wanted that. And no fee. You see, when it's paid by the landlord, you might even get a higher price. So just like a regular property, if it's priced right, you might get a bidding war on a rental. That has happened a few times this year. And they got washer and dryer. So where I was going to use that comp, now that I saw it had washer and dryer, I'm not going to use that comp.
Karen, speaking of bidding wars on rentals, once you price it, say whatever, 1,800 and the landlord's paying the fee and you have multiple tenants, how do you tell your client, your landlord, that, hey, I have 4 or 5 people looking and they all did their NTNs? How, once you put the prices what it is, how are we allowed to change and increase it based on the landlord saying, you know what, since you have 4 people you want to choose from, let's raise it to 1,900 because we advertise it at a certain price. And then do we want to, I don't want to turn off buyer potential tenants by saying, by the way, it's $100 more now. How do you approach that?
Well, if the seller or the landlord in this case tell you they want a higher price, you ain't got no choice but to listen to the landlord of what they want. However, if they already entertaining for offers, then you can just say directly to each one, there's multiple offers. The owner would like to know if you'll go up $100. He's given the same opportunity to everybody. And then you can see if anybody go up or no. Sometimes the tenant will automatically say, I'll go up without the owner even saying it. Once you let them know, listen, there's 4 applications, the owner's entertaining, reviewing all 4 applications. So if the owner is reviewing it, they have that opportunity to automatically say, well, I want mine to be chosen, so I'll be willing to go up.
What's
so
considered
it's all
like a good, actual offer in the rental space? Is a signed lease? Like, how do you know when it's an offer? Because I know a contract is when you have a buyer.
you have a signed and accepted lease in writing.
Okay. That's considered an offer in the rental space.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, so now that we have the ones we got to 25, we're gonna hit show check. And that dropped us down to 9. So what I generally do is go CMA. Let me go a different way. Print plus. Remove. CMA summary. Add. And do print preview. And this is going to drop it down to the numbers. So right now there's 2 that's active in your area. That is your main competition. That's 101 Ferry and 215 Sherman. The high list price is $1,900 with the low of $1,795. That's going to give us an average of $1,843. Now, what actually rented in your area would be the sold price, which is the high is $1,950 and the low is $1,795, and your average is $1,856. Both of these have a median of $1,850. So the numbers are telling me that your property, I'm sorry, Miss, what you say?
this actually went down from when I did it. When I did it, the high was 2,000. There was one apartment rented for actually a couple for 2,000. The low was like 1,800, and the average was around 1,850 also. But because he saw the high was 2,000 and he wanted to test the waters, he was like, let's see if we can get 2,000. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do 1 or 2 weekends, third floor walk up, but just know you're not paying the landlord fee, so you're not gonna get a lot of potential, you know, people to choose from. And then he bit the bullet like a week or two before it needed to be rented. And then when he bit the bullet and did 1,850, he had a bunch of people to choose from, and he regretted not listening to me earlier and putting it for, 1,850 or 1,900 to get a bidding war.
Not only that, paying a broker fee from out the bat, he would have got more. So these are the numbers. And you see, based on this is a real lot presentation because you got 1,850. So the numbers speak louder than us guessing. It brings us some more accurate number of what we should be working with. And then you can always go back and let them know by going to the ones that are active and saying, well, listen, this one is at 101 Ferry Street. They tested the market for you 16 days. This one is at 215 Sherman Avenue. They done tested the market 13 days. So they're still active at 1,850 and 1,900. So you want to be within your competition, but you want to be slightly below your competition. If we look 1,850, the broker fee is paid by the tenant. If we looked at 1,900, it's paid by the tenant. But if I go to one of the ones that have sold and we start comparing it, you'll see paid by the landlord, paid by the landlord, paid by both. So yes, we can have where the landlord will pay the broker fee, and it probably will go quicker. As you can see in the first two, they went in, that was 60 days. That's not but generally it's not 60 days on the market when they pay the broker fee, but we don't know at which point in time they switched over to paying a broker fee. But let's see, 25 paid by the landlord within 25 days, this was all wrapped up, 64 Sherman. So we can wait and then change it later. But if you pay the broker fee up front, the chances of you losing 2 months on the market like these two did is slimmer than you trying to see if the buyer or the tenant is going to pay the broker fee, as opposed to us just taking the first month rent. This way you're not coming out of your pocket directly with the 1 month fee. The tenant is actually paying it. You're just getting paid the second month because you're going to give that first month to the broker. And that's a win-win for everybody. Tenants get what they need, you get what they need, the brokerage get what they need, everybody happy, and you're rented within less than 30 days. And that's how you would pitch a CMA on a rental.
Karen, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
How do you take into account off-market rentals, like for where landlords are on Zillow and they're just basically renting it out themselves and that doesn't show up on the MLS? Like I saw some that were very cheap, nice apartments on Zillow that weren't on the MLS. And I'm like, oh, this is going to throw off my actual CMA because these are his competition, but they're not on the MLS, so they wouldn't be included in my CMA. What do you think about
throw off your CMA because it's not on the MLS. Our CMAs is coming from data from the MLS. If it's not on the MLS, we're not worried about the data.
But isn't that an apartment that someone could rent instead of his?
Yeah, but you're worried about pricing out your CMA, your data. Their data will never cross our data, even though it's on Zillow.
But what I'm saying is, if it's a comparative market analysis and those apartments that aren't on the MLS are part of the market, isn't it like, aren't you excluding a portion of the market? I know we can't include it because it's not on the MLS, but what I did and what I'm going to do going forward is do my CMA, and you tell me if this is horrible and not to do this. And then after, I go on Zillow and I pretend like I'm going to rent, and I see what I can find that's not on the MLS and see if it's way lower or if it's in line with what my CMA shows also.
I think it's redundant work because most of those that are on Zillow will wind up finding a realtor any which way. It's like a FSBO who's trying to do it themselves, but realize they can't do it and wind up going with the realtor. So I think it's extra work, the numbers
Got you.
that you need. And besides, if you go to Zillow and present that to your seller, this is what's off market as opposed to what's on market, you might just put in their head to go and put it on Zillow themselves. Now you done lost the client. So I wouldn't even,
Good point. Thank you very much. I did not even think of that.
I would
Thank
use
you.
just what's on our MLS. That's it. So that's on rentals. I think we have time to do one on a purchase. Anybody working on a 1-family, 2-family condo?
Good in the New Yorkers.
All right, so let's just do a condo, because we're in a condo market. That's what's going on a lot. So we're gonna search, same thing we did. We're gonna do a condo. And let's do something in Journal Square. I have a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, not newly renovated, larger square footage. Let's do 101 Kensington. So generally, we always start off with the tax record. So this is going to be Hudson County, Jersey City, Kensington. Building is 101. And the unit is C2, which is the 3rd floor. And it's a walk-up. On here, what I need is the square footage, which is 749. Verify that it's a condo unit and it's 17 units, so mine will be one of those 17. Heat is included. It's not renovated. The refrigerator, stove, and microwave is included. It does have washer and dryer in the basement. I think those are most of the facts. It's a brick building between West Side and Kennedy, so it's right in bus lines. Now let's go and see how we can comp out this unit. So one thing I like doing is seeing what's the activity in that building. So I'm just going to go to the building itself. Avenue. Yeah, Kensington Avenue. There was 85 things in this building over the years. Y'all do know when you put it in order here, it goes by the year. So 21 is everything for 21, everything for 2000, everything for 2019, 2018, so on and so forth. So when I'm looking at it, I see something expired, I see something under contract, I see something active. These are all 2021. Something was withdrawn. Then the sold, okay, we had something that sold at 285, 181, 250. So I want to see what those things are going on. It's a 2-bedroom, so I know a 2-bedroom I don't have. Now, if I had to do it by square footage and I only had the one comp, I can always break everything down by square footage. I would take that 285 and I would divide that by the square footage. So in this case, 285 square feet divided by 910 give me a per square footage amount, which is 313. Now I can always take that and times it by my square footage, which is 749 according to the tax records, and I can get mine should come out at 234,576 if I'm just doing solely by square footage. But then I have to also factor in the condition. So yeah, the building is the same, but look at that bathroom, totally renovated. Look at that kitchen. Totally renovated and updated. So that makes a difference. It looked like it was painted. So if I'm just doing square footage by square footage, I have to know, well, what is the condition of my unit? And I already said it's not renovated. It has heat and hot water, but nothing's done. So would I get $313 per square footage with the unrented, even though it's by square footage? Absolutely not. I probably would have to factor in how much cost it would be to renovate a kitchen and a bathroom. You know, estimated how much would that be? And that can be anywhere in a condo unit. I would say anywhere from 25 to 50,000, depending on what materials that they want to renovate it with. So where I was at 234, I might be somewhere around the 200 mark. So I can't promise the seller that, oh, I can get you 234 per square foot just looking at the square footage. Now, when I go to the other one, I see that only went for 181,000. So if I took 50,000, the higher of renovation, that's probably where I'm looking at. It's the same square footage. Doesn't look like it was renovated. Paint job look horrible. Kitchen is standard, and they didn't even show the bathroom. So therefore, that's probably about the same amount if I took out a renovation from the 234, where I would come up with. Let's see. Just for the math's sake, I'm gonna do that. So he's at 234, and we say if it's 50,000, we're looking at 184,576. Pretty much what's in line with what sold. Now there was another one that sold. Oops, bring it back up. Another one that sold. Let's look at what that other one was. That one was C1. So 3rd floor, but again, a little bit larger. And 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 951 square foot. Somewhere around the same as the other one. So again, can't compare because look at that one. Beautiful, nicely painted. Floors are popping. Kitchen is done. The bathroom was done. So would you get the higher amount? Absolutely. Can I get more than 181? Absolutely. But what do I have to do? The owner has to get in there and renovate it. Otherwise, without even going any further, the comps is 181. But that's just what's going on in the building. And a lot of times the appraiser is going to see what's going on in the building before they actually go and compare what's going on the outside of the area, the surrounding area. So we have one that's under contract at 215 in this building. 1st floor, A2. They look like they did some painting or something in here. They'll look way better. Look at that. So they might even get a little bit more than a 215 that they asked for. Whereas the one that we're trying to compare, that's 215. Older. It's clean, but it's nothing spectacular. And like we said with the rental, when you walk up, the price generally goes down as opposed to if it was an elevator building. So 215, it's been sitting 149 days. It's probably going to expire if they don't agree to bring it down to the 199 mark, which the comp is 181 for something that's not renovated. Now we can always compare, that's just in the building itself. We can always compare, and say the owner wanted 225. We can see what come up around that. We're looking for condos, not co-op. We're gonna look in the area, which is Journal Square, Jersey City. We want to pull in active. We want to pull in what's under contract, because what's under contract is going to give me an indication where I need to be priced. But what the appraiser really care about is what actually sold. Closing, we can go back 6 months. So we'll go back to June. Bedrooms, we only know it's a 1-bedroom. Now with the square footage, we know it's 749. So I generally go 50 below and 50 above. So I'm not going to go above 800 and below 700. And that's going to narrow it down to only 2 comps that actually have sold or is active. And that's giving me 101 Kensington and 101 Kensington. So it's not much condos in the area right now of Journal Square that I can have them compared to. So I can either do one or two things. I can go back and I could bring in a neighboring market. I can go back in more days. So instead of going to June, I can go say to March, see if that changes. I can increase and then I have to decrease for square footage. So maybe there's something a little bit smaller, a little bit larger. So now 6 things come up. So you just got to play with the numbers and tweak the numbers a little bit. And now I get some inventory on Harrison Avenue, on Fairmont Avenue, and the 2 there on Kensington. So let's look at that. And we'll see, we already looked at Kensington, so let's look at Harrison. Let's see what's going on over there. 185. When I did the comps earlier, what I said, 184, right? When we had the 234 minus out for renovation. Let's see if this unit is renovated. If this unit is renovated, it's giving us our comp. So far, so good. About the same. Look like it's been painted. Bathroom is decent. It's not that ugly yellow. Kitchen looks decent. It has a center island. So it looks like they did some renovations to it. Let's go to the next one. 333 Fairmont, 210. So they got a little bit more. They was 5th floor. This is an elevator building. It does have the wash and dryer room. The other one does have a wash and dryer room too. Heat and hot water is included, same there. So the only difference here is more than likely the renovation, why they got 210. So let's look and see what the pictures are telling us. Floor's starting to be, yep, they got the kitchen. Even though they only give us that little peek of a kitchen, really? But we can see from that little peek that it's a renovated unit. So thus they get the 210, even though they're smaller square footage. Getting a picture? Any questions? 70 Harrison, 4th floor, another elevator building, wash and dryer room. This one was cash. So more than likely they was just looking for an investment. Let's look at the pictures. Have not seen this unit. Bathroom is decent. Flooring is great. Open concept, newer. Rooftop lighting, which you know they did some renovation because these are older buildings and you know they don't have that type of lighting. So they were able to get 214 cash at a lower square footage on a 4th floor of a elevator building. So that's telling me that my property at 101 Kensington C7, that is a walk-up, not renovated, listed for 215 for 149 days, is definitely overpriced. So I can try to use these comps to go back and show my seller that although things are selling and you see the sold price of 214 and that it's averaging at 203 with the medium of 210, the low that is similar to ours is 185. That is what's sold. And if we want this off the market, we need to adjust accordingly. And if they don't listen, I've done my job and it will expire. Any questions? And when we go do a print preview, we can bring in CMA summary, add it, print. I always like to print everything up. I didn't select all of it. Print preview, default, CMA summary, add, print. I always put this in your DocuSign documents in your room. This way you can always go back and compare one CMA when you did it 6 months ago, when you did it 3 months, and when you did it currently, trying to get that price improvement. You keep it in your file so you can show them, this is where we started, this is where we at. What do you want to do based on the market? We are overpriced. So this will be a hard conversation I will be having today. It won't be hard, but you know, you never want to have to go tell somebody we're priced too high. We tried it, but it didn't work. Any questions?
Yeah, Karen, I do have one question. As far as the comps are concerned, I mean, even once we do the comps for the properties that similar and match well with the property that you want to sell, what about the square footage? Could we always come in and just kind of use that as a backup, or would that be redundant?
No, you can, sometimes I do that, where you use this, but then you break it down. So I would take this here, print it, and then I'll write on it the breakdown of per square footage so that they see based on the total of this average, which you just take the 203 divided by 3 that sold, get an average and times it by the 749 square footage. Everybody likes seeing black and white numbers. So I physically write that down on the CMA and show them the numbers, showing the high, low, average, and medium, but then a breakdown per square foot so that they can see it. Let's do that now.
Okay.
Since we have the average is 203 based on these numbers versus the other one. Let's do it on that because the other one was 313 a square foot. So right now we have an average of 203 divided by 3. Let's see, trying to break down the square footage. Yeah, usually a little bit tricky. Sold price, 3 things that sold, 1, 2, 3, divided by 3. So that is giving me too much money. Yeah, that's giving me too much money. So is it times or is it divide? I got to figure that out real quick in my head. Okay. So I got the average of the sold. I got to get the average of the per square foot. So I got to take the 276, the 309, the 326, add those up, divided by 3. So I'm gonna do that right now. This is the math part that I hate.
It's almost 900. It's like, I just doing it in my head. It's like almost exactly 900 square feet. Then divided by 3, so it'll be like 300 square feet.
1257 divided by 3 is, can that be? That's not right.
In my head, it works out to like 903 square feet across those 3 sold.
4.19 a square foot, which we were at 313, so not too much of a difference, times 749 square foot, which would put us at 227 838. So you can do it by square footage, but what did we say will factor in the difference? The renovation.
The renovation. Yeah,
So where we give them some false hope that it's 304 square foot, that's after renovation. So we just go with the one that is 185, that is similar to theirs. Was it the one that was 185? Even 185 was renovated. So we go at that one at a smaller square footage, divided by what, 670? We come out to 276 a square foot times 749. We're at 206, 813. So, and that's still giving them a little bit of a false hope, because if we go back to the building, when we did the building itself, and we had that one comp that was 181, even though it was almost a year sold, they didn't go from 181 to 206 without any renovations. They're still going to be somewhere around that 185 mark, 181 to 185. A little bit of appreciation for the year, but they're not getting a whole, what, 25,000 appreciation in a year and haven't done anything. So even though you may be able to break it down by the square footage, we got to factor in the condition. And if the condition is not similar, we got to backtrack how much it would be for a renovation of a kitchen and a bathroom, which you probably can go on Google and search to see amount, or ask one of your contractors, how much would they do for a kitchen and a bathroom? But with the cost of materials these days, it's double. Cost of labor is triple. We're looking at least 50,000 on a condo unit to do the kitchen and the bathroom, buff up the floors and paint. You're probably looking at 50,000, which will put us back at our 184 mark.
okay.
Karen, just so I'm straight on the numbers, did you just take the average of the 3 sold for the condo and then the average of the square foot for those
Correct.
same 3 sold?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So now we have the scenario we did today of a residential rental. We did a 1 family, well, condo. Same difference when you're doing a 1 family and a 2 family. You just need to gather all the information, asking the questions to the seller or the landlord to get as much information. If you could visually see, that would be even better, because now you can come back, look at your computer and compare apples to oranges, apples to apples versus apples to oranges.
Karen, I got a question. You could say this is completely unrelated. I can't help you, Ramiz, but I just got a random question. I'm thinking to myself, if someone wanted to know if a property, a condo property, say in the Jersey City Heights, is a good investment, right, for a flip. Say they want to buy a condo next year that they see is a good deal, and they got a great contractor, and they know they got enough. If they say, like, say 50 is the average, and they say, okay, this is how much it would be after market, considering I've seen what comparable properties look like. Would you basically, by, if you were an investor, say, okay, I'm going to do a CMA. I'm going to see what condos go for. And then when I see a great deal, given I know what, a 2-bed, 1-bath condo with this many square feet that's not renovated goes for. If you see a good deal, is it potentially what someone would do when they say, okay, I'm going to buy that. I know how much it's going to cost to renovate it, to determine how much is it going to cash flow to get a cash on cash return. Because I'm thinking investors, and I'm not an investor yet, much like agents, they probably do a CMA before they're going in and buying a property to determine if the numbers work for them, right?
Yes, it's called the return on profit. See how much they're gonna make based on how much they purchase, the expense they cost, the after repair value, the expense that they purchased it, hold it, renovate it. If there's enough equity once they flip it to have some investors are fine with 25,000. Some don't want nothing less than 100,000. So the after repair value is very important for investors to know how much am I going to make after all expenses, including now if I'm flipping it and using a broker, another 4%, because they're not going to give you 5%, another 4% on top of everything else that I just have to put out, which is my holding cost, my purchase cost, my renovation cost, and my cost for the attorney, and my cost for the brokerage. How much am I going to make afterwards? Most of the time, condos don't make sense for investors, most of the time. But when we were probably back in 2009, 10, 11, you had some condos that now they're probably making 150 off of those condos. I was selling condos at 60,000, 70,000, 41,000. Tell me why I didn't get one. That was crazy. But yeah, that would make sense. So if we ever go back into a market like that, investors pick those up all day long. But at these prices, there's no room. There's no room for profit in them, so they wouldn't pick them up.
Got it. Thank you for the great advice.
Well, that is our CMA class today. If there's not any more questions, let me stop sharing. And, I don't even know how to stop sharing. Let's see, where's the stop sharing button at? Oh, well, I don't see where the stop sharing button is. But if there's no more questions, we are finished.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Welcome, you
Actually,
know where to
I do
catch
have
me.
one. I do have one randomly, Karen. I just thought of it because my upcoming rental is from a neighbor of mine that had horrible tenants for 2 years and finally got them evicted. And he's a neighbor, so he reached out to me saying, "You can pull up fake NTNs. I need your help. Please help me get it rented." I'm thinking to myself, is there any source that we can go to as agents that shows a list of, say, potential landlords in Jersey City that had to go through eviction process to get rid of tenants? Because to me, that's my next area that I'm going to go look for my rental clients. Is there something that's publicly available that we can search through court documents to see, hey, these are the eviction records in Jersey City. These are landlords that have acting eviction cases, upcoming eviction cases. Because to me, those horrible tenants, now that the eviction moratorium's over, are the ones that I'm going to try to go for as my rental clients. Any thoughts?
Well, two thoughts. One, I don't know of such a system. Second, you do realize that there's going to be a protection phase. The protection phase is going to be March of 2020 to September 2nd of 2021, where anybody that had an issue due to COVID and was not paying their rent will not show up on the NTN. If you find out, you cannot even use that information against that tenant, because now you're violating a law that have them protected, and you can bring the brokerage upon a lawsuit. So there will be new NTN rules coming out. I'm going to a class on the 15th this week, and I'll be bringing more information with our own personal rep, Elizabeth, beginning of next year. But if you go back and ask Jack to give you the last NTN that we did, we spent 1 hour and 40 minutes on new rules against tenants being discriminated against when it comes to the moratorium and COVID, and how we as realtors are not going to be able to use any knowledge that we may come across to give to the landlords not to select those tenants.
I remember that I was in that class. Thank you so much.
It's going to be very difficult, and between the new law with the criminal and the new law with the eviction, we got to be very, very careful as a brokerage, because we don't want to be the example that be on NAR for discriminating.
Is the upcoming class with Elizabeth from NTN just for brokers of records like yourself, or can we participate and listen in? Or
Let me see if I can, ask Elizabeth, but I think it's just for the brokers right now, and then we're bringing it to the company, to the team in January. But I'll double
Keep
check,
that in mind for my upcoming rental. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate all the help.
no problem. We good?
All good.
All right, y'all have a good day. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Still trying to figure out how to end the class.